Okay, once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. We are so glad to see you all. So let's start our webinar for today. So first, I'm going to share my screen. And is it visible?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Mhm. So, I think I'm going to ask your help, Miss Gozal. Are you here? Can I assign you as a co-host and you can accept the participants because I'm going to present now. Can you do that?
Uh, yes, I will try.
Okay, so if the participants are coming, then please accept them.
Oh, okay.
Is it visible for you, the participants? You can admit participants.
Yes, they are joining automatically, I think, or should
No,
I?
you should admit all.
But how to admit them?
Okay, who can help me to be a co-host?
Because I have never tried. That's why I'm confusing a
Gulbahar,
little bit.
Gulbahar, are you here? Gulkumar?
Ah, now I found.
Okay, Gozal, thank you so much. So
Yeah,
you can accept, you can
I
admit.
admitted.
All
Yes.
right,
Yeah,
let's start
yeah.
now. Okay, you can mute yourself, Gozal. Yes, thank you. So let's start our webinar for today. Let me introduce myself because we have new participants here. I'm Dr. Rima Sotlikova. I'm adjunct associate professor in TESOL program and international ELT expert, and I'm the founder of Prime. Prime stands for Project Research Innovation Mentoring for Excellence. So our vision is empowering educators to achieve excellence through collaboration and continuous learning. And our mission is connecting global educators and researchers through workshops, mentoring, and webinars. So, Prime is more than a project, it's a movement toward empowering excellence in education and research. So, next. What we do, we have webinar series and we share global voices on research and teaching. And we have research mentorship guiding new researchers in proposal writing and publication. And we have the projects like article writing for publication, that's collaborative mini course. And we have Global Kids English Club, English public speaking, storytelling. They do storytelling. They learn how to act in front of the audience from their early age. And we already have kids. They collaborated between Indonesia and Uzbekistan mostly, and they are having storytelling projects nowadays. And we have also Unlock Your PhD Path webinar series. That will be the next one. And we have also teacher club in service and pre-service teachers. They share, they collaborate, discuss, and we have book club. So this is for free to join. Participation is free. So we can share, discuss, and we may have book chapter writing or article writing together. And here you can see why we should apply for conferences, international conferences, especially webinar series or seminars, because we share our voice. So you will be able to share your voice, present your ideas to a wider academic community, and build networking. So you meet international experts and collaborators, and you can learn and grow, gain feedback to strengthen your research, and also boost your academic profile. Like, so you will get certificates, recognition, and new opportunities. So every presentation is a step toward visibility, confidence, and growth. In my CV, for example, I was in more than 50 conferences as a keynote speaker, and more than 60 conferences as a presenter, and more than 80 conferences as a participant. And I always join to the conference, TESOL conferences also. Former, it was TESOL Arabia. And here you can see some of my pictures. On the left side, the conference in Indonesia, and also I joined to online conferences, webinars, and on the bottom, in the middle, you can see my presentation. I presented in 2022 in TESOL conference in Dubai. And on the left side, you can see the conferences I participated in Thailand, and also here the president of TESOL. And I searched the photo. I had one with Dr. Melanie also when I went to Dubai, but unfortunately I changed my phone, so that's why I couldn't find. Sorry for that. I really wanted to label it here. So that's why we join conferences, international conferences. Why? Because in our CV we can include the certificates we got, and whenever we apply for jobs, then it will be easier for us to get the job. Why? Because they will review that we were active in our academic world, and they can see our participation, being a presenter maybe or participant in the conferences, and it will be easier for us when we apply for jobs. So wherever you go, they will ask for your CV. Why? Because they really want to see your activities. And for applying the conferences, we should know how to write conference proposal, because they accept the conference proposals if it's effective for others, or if you have a good title, if you have good presentation performance, and also they will see if it was developed by using AI tools only, or that's your own or original abstract. So we should know how to develop conference proposal. And now we are going to have the tips from Dr. Melanie. But before that, I want you to join me on my Instagram if you haven't yet, because I update about the webinar series and also about my activities in my Instagram. I'll be happy if you have any collaboration and cooperation for future. So keep in touch, join us, follow our webinar series, mentorship, and also connect with mentors. Join us in Telegram, WhatsApp, and also together we learn and grow. So participation is free for today also, but if you request for certificate, then there will be a small fee. Thank you so much for joining us for today. And now I want to invite our guest speaker, Dr. Melanie. Dr. Melanie is here. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being our guest speaker, Dr. Melanie. We appreciate it. Hello, Dr. Melanie. You are muted. Dr. Melanie, you are not audible. I think you should unmute your microphone, please. Okay, so maybe I'll help you to unmute.
I got it there. Sorry.
That's okay. Should
Now,
I?
can you hear me? I'm so doing it on my PC. I'm not used to doing it on my phone.
That's okay. You are audible now.
Good. So anyway, thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Can I help you to share your presentation, or you're going to share it?
You have to share it. You have to share it. I tried and
Okay, so let me share it. And also, dear participants, please don't forget to fill the attendance form. I'll share the attendance form at the end of this webinar. Please stay until the end, and you will be able to fill the attendance form. Okay, so let me share the presentation from Dr. Melanie. Okay, is it visible?
yep. And if you could do full screen, yes, very good. Okay, go on to the next slide because we've already talked about all of this. Okay, let's start with what kind of topics are encouraged, okay, when you submit your proposal. And those focusing on the conference theme, I think it's part of the review criteria. That doesn't mean that every proposal has to focus on the conference theme, but you should keep the conference theme in mind. And this year, our theme for TESOL conferences at American University in Dubai is Enhancing ELT, Empowering Learners in an AI Inclusive Era. Okay, so it's good to try to connect your proposal to the theme of the conference in some way. Okay, for us at TESOL conferences in Dubai, it needs to be related to the TESOL profession and professional development. Okay. And from all settings, okay, we like having international presenters. And myself as an attendee, I will often go and hear a presentation from Japan or a presentation from India, just because I want to learn more about the teaching context there. But our emphasis, of course, is on the Gulf region for sorry, our annual conference, which will be held this year at the American University in Dubai. Okay, so presentations also should use interactive formats as much as possible, engage the audience, and focus on classroom practice. Now, sometimes we have proposals, or in the past, we've had proposals that have been rejected. And sometimes academic scholars are very upset because their proposal was rejected. But it's because their proposal is completely research oriented. Okay. And that's more like for a specialist conference in applied linguistics. Yeah. So ours needs to have a focus on classroom practice. It should engage the audience and be interactive. Okay, go on to the next slide. Okay, I'm not going to read all of these, but I'm going to leave them on the slide for maybe 1 minute so you have a chance to read them. Okay, I think you've had a chance to look those over a little bit. Don't advance the slide yet. Of course, we have AI in the theme of our conference, and I can see that happening for the next few years, okay? Every conference we're asked to organize now is very concerned with AI. So it was a brand new technology about 3 years ago, but now we're beginning to really see the impact that it has, not only on English language teaching, but on education in general, right? You can see some other things that have come up new new topics that maybe weren't so important in the past, like self-care and mindfulness. It seems like a lot of teachers are suffering from burnout, so there begins to be a trend for that, as well as multilingualism, right? And decolonizing English language teaching, there's more awareness of that. Teacherpreneurship is also a growing aspect of our field, along with these usual ones. And of course, early childhood education is becoming important in the Emirates and Saudi and these countries. They're starting to teach English younger and younger. Now, maybe you have a presentation and you want to show something about grammar. You want to do grammar. You can see grammar is not there, but you can easily slot that into applied linguistics, probably, or teaching the four skills. Okay, but your presentation should fit one of these categories. And we ask on the proposal submission for you to indicate the category. Yeah? Okay, go on to the next one, please. We also ask for you to indicate the intended audience, okay? From experienced to less experienced audience, also to people who teach in higher education, or of course, adult education as well. Go on to the next one. We try to keep a balance, okay? Now, this is very important, and this is why proposals are rejected sometimes. Choose the correct type of proposal. Now, a normal proposal is just practice oriented, okay? If you want to present on your research topic, that's fine and that's welcome. But there should be some practical aspects on your research topic as well. Many people are working on their master's or their PhD, which is all great, but if there's no practical classroom aspect, then it's likely not to be accepted. So we do accept research-oriented presentations, but you still have to balance that with classroom practice. How will it impact your class? Okay, workshops are also longer presentations, okay? And this is always a misnomer as well. The way we make our schedule is in 15-minute increments. So if you do a 45-minute presentation, that gives you 15 minutes for people to pass between the sections. If you do a workshop presentation, which is 60 minutes, it will really finish at 55 minutes because people still need time to move between the presentations. So I've given workshops and I've given presentations. I think everybody knows the difference, right? In a workshop, that means that you have to do something. I would say that today's presentation is a presentation because I'm not going to ask you to do very much, okay? But a workshop should have a hands-on component, yeah? Discussion groups also 45 minutes. Teaching tip is a new category that we introduced because sometimes teachers just want to share one thing that they're using in the classroom. And this is great if you're doing something like you want to share an AI app or you want to share your own customized chat GPT that you've written to give writing feedback. Teaching tip is a 30-minute presentation. But again, not really 30 minutes because you have to finish 5 minutes before the end. Poster session. So obviously, I think from our past conference, some people don't know what a poster session is. A poster session is a more informal way to present because it's not a single presentation during a 45-minute slot, but it's multiple presentations during a 45-minute slot. So we can accept up to 12, 15 presentations at a time to be shown as poster presentations. This is an opportunity often for students who want to share their work, but they would be intimidated or shy or don't have enough experience presenting to present a full session for 45 minutes in front of a large audience. So for poster sessions, people have an easel or they have a wall where they can display the poster that they've made. I think it's I want to say A0 size, but it might be A1 size. And they can have it printed or they can make a poster. I still see senior teachers making a poster by hand. And then you present informally. Small groups of people will pass by in front of your poster and you can explain informally what you're doing. It's always some of the best presentations that I see at a conference. Very practical ideas that people can use in the classroom. More informal, you can discuss with the presenter while they're talking to you about their poster. You can ask questions. So I hope you can see the difference between that and a practice-oriented or research-oriented session where you have to sit there and be quiet and listen to the presenter. And then maybe at the end, there's an opportunity for one or two questions. Also, this is different from a workshop because in a workshop, we expect people to be able to have some hands-on activities during the workshop. And then now, I mean, last year at the University of Sharjah, we opted not to do remote presentations because we said it's post-COVID, people are back, people want to come. But we actually had a very high demand for people to do remote presentations. So we had to organize a completely online conference. I think it was in April, 2 months after our conference. So now we are going to continue always having hybrid conferences, but along with best practices in hybrid conferences, we limit the time to 25 minutes, 5 minutes for changeover. And then people have the opportunity to present who cannot attend in person. And for the people who are actually attending, they will be broadcast in a room. And they will actually also have the opportunity to attend a presentation that is presented remotely. And I was surprised also, I think, when we started doing this post-COVID, because a lot of people attended the presentation. And I thought it would be poor attendance because they would rather present law, they would rather attend with a face-to-face presenter. But a lot of people came into the room for the remote presentation. So it's about the topic. It's about the abstract that's published in the conference book and the topic. If people are interested, they don't mind if it's face-to-face or if it's a remote presentation. Please go on to the next slide, Rima. Okay, many proposals are rejected because the person doesn't follow the guidelines. Our guidelines are clear. They are written on the proposals page when you click on the link. And these sections are often problematic. We have to limit the titles to 7 words because you can see the way we make the program and the schedule. It's not possible to have a 10 or 15 word title fit into the space that's available. The abstract can also be problematic. That's the short summary. That's all people will see to decide if they want to come to your presentation or not. So it's important to do a good job writing it so that it's interesting. The summary can be problematic also because that's the sole thing that the reviewer will see to decide if your proposal is accepted or not. And we have a ranking system. So a proposal that is submitted is reviewed on average by 6 reviewers. And we accept, and the scores are calculated from 1 to 5 on various criteria. We accept the top of this level of presentations. So if your presentation has a 4 or above, you are very likely to be accepted. If you have a 3 or below, you're not very likely to be accepted. But the summary is very important because that's how the reviewer makes a decision whether to recommend your proposal for acceptance or waitlist or rejection. The bio can be problematic also. And if you need help writing these sections, Rima made allusion to this. If it's all written by AI, it probably won't be accepted either. We're not using AI detectors yet, but I think we're all getting very used to reading AI generated text. It often doesn't say very much. Okay, so for me, a good way to do it is to write your own proposal and then use AI to help refine the grammar, the editing. There's nothing wrong with that. And also maybe for your title, if you can't think of a short title, I'm sure you could ask AI to shorten your title and it would. I think we are all already doing that already. Okay. Let's go on to the next slide, please, Rima. Okay, start with the abstract. 50 words maximum. And again, this is about space limitations for the program. Don't include citations in the abstract. The abstract is too short, so you don't need to make any citations or references there. And you should also write in the third person present and the future tense. The presenters will describe, okay? In the abstract, spell out acronyms. I know it seems like we all know all the acronyms from our profession, but actually people don't. The suggested format for an abstract is 1 or 2 general sentences relating your topic to importance in the field, theory, or research. 1 or 2 sentences describing what you're going to do, and the last sentence stating what participants will get out of the session. Now, I need to make another comment about this, stating what participants will get out of the session. Often proposals are rejected because they don't mention what the attendees, what the participants will get out of your session. If you want people to come to your session and you want your proposal to be accepted, you need to be clear what people will get from it. And then, of course, also do a word count at the end. Many people just copy paste, maybe from something they have submitted for something else, maybe for something AI wrote, but then their abstract is cut off before the end. And I often get emails when I ask people to, to check the program. They're like, my abstract is cut off. The sentence is not complete. Well, the system only takes 50 words. So this is again a place where AI can probably help you. If you cannot reduce what you want to say from 75 words to 50 words, AI is certainly capable of helping you do that. Okay, Rima, please advance to the next slide. Here is a sample abstract, and I will also give you 1 minute to read that on your own. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, the presentation title. The title should accurately reflect the content of the presentation, be clear to the intended audience, and contain no more than 7 words. I get lots of emails telling me that their title is not complete, that it's missing these 3 or 4 words. I always have to email back and say, there's a 7-word limit on the title. Some people insist, and I insist also, 7-word limit on the title. This is something that I think AI can help you do. If you can't reduce your title, AI can help you. People often also use like gimmicky titles. And I don't think that's necessarily a good idea. Like, no pain, no gain, ELT. That doesn't really tell me what the presentation is going to be about. And remember, this is what people will see in the program, and this is how they will decide if they want to attend your presentation or not. Okay, here are some examples of titles. Navigating AI's ethical maze in academia. 6 words. Do I know what that presentation will be about? Yes, right? It will be about academia, ethics, and AI, right? Something that concerns all of us, something that is still under development and in progress at the moment. Okay, look at the second title, Authentic Assessment in the EFL Classroom. Do I know what this will be about? Yes, authentic assessment. And of course, the difference between English as a second language and English as a foreign language is when there's predominantly a second language spoken in the country, or if it's a multilingual society and English as a foreign language is just one of many different languages spoken in the society in general. Okay, go on to the next one, please, Rima. Okay, titles. Good titles attract people to your session. Make sure it matches your abstract. It should accurately reflect the content of your presentation. Try to make it eye-catching and interesting. I really liked the title about navigating the ethical maze, the AI ethical maze in academia. Okay, but avoid gimmicky titles. The 7-day plan. Like, what does that mean? Okay, so avoid those. And each part of a hyphenated or slashed word counts as 1 word. Now, what I have noticed, I did look at the proposal database when I was preparing the presentation. What I did notice is people who are running out of word count are just not putting a space between the words. So they get a long word at the end. For example, the art of ELT teaching in aerobotics, but that's like 1 word because there are no spaces. So this can also be a reason why the reviewers reject your title, because it looks like a spelling error. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, here is the abstract we read a few minutes ago. Now it's your turn to do a tiny little bit of work. What do you think would be a good title for that sample abstract? So I'll give you a minute again, and you can put what you think would be a good title into the chat. What do you think would be a good title for that presentation, for that abstract?
Okay, if you already decided about the title, you can write in a chat box. Tahira Zairova already wrote here about the title. Mm, she says effective
Oh,
strategies in the flipped class.
Zebo. Zebo, do you have 7 words? Is that Zebo?
Tahira
Zebo,
Zairova.
do you have 7 words? Is
Ah,
that 7 words?
There are two versions.
okay.
Still, slash.
Zebo.
Okay. Okay.
Zebo Beknazarova says benefits of flipped classroom, moving from traditional to flipped classroom. And Sylvia,
Either one of
positive,
those would be good.
Yeah, either one of those.
positive effects of a flipped classroom approach.
Dilnoza, is that 7 words?
Mhm. Zamira says pre-class and in-class activities in ELT.
Karima, is that 7 words?
Mansoor says flipped learning in EFL classroom. Enhancing English learning with flipped teaching. And Dilnoza Jumaeva says the influence of teachers' encouragement and motivation on student learning.
Okay, before we go on to the next slide, I'll respond to this question of Salah Ali. He asked, how can we make our conference abstract titles more attractive and professional for reviewers? The simple answer is ask AI. When you've written your summary, when you've written your abstract, ask AI to give you 5 or 6 good title suggestions. You can write a long title, as some of the people did, and you can ask AI to shorten it. That would be a useful, ethical use of AI. Okay, can you go on to the next slide, please, Rima?
Okay.
Okay, the summary is very important. The summary is the long bit of writing that you have to do, but it's limited to 250 words. Now that is crucial because that's all that the reviewers will see, or I should say, that's what they will see to decide whether to accept your proposal or not. They will, of course, also see the title and the abstract. And this is where, and of course, it's at this level that many proposals are rejected. Okay, so let's look at the positive traits of a good summary. Have a clearly stated rationale. Okay, what did you do and why did you do it? Base it on theory. Contain evidence of current practice and or research. Okay, I'm also a reviewer for 3 Scopus Index journals. If your references are old, it will probably be rejected. If you want to present your PhD thesis that you wrote 20 years ago, you at least have to update it with current research and current references. Something with 1991 on it is not going to get accepted. Okay, include supporting details and examples as we teach our students how to write good expository writing paragraphs. You should do that too. First of all, for example, next, for example. Okay, be carefully edited and proofread. And this is actually a great thing that AI does for us, right? You no longer have to pay someone to proofread and edit. And I should say pay or beg, right? Because sometimes it's beg someone, can you please read this for me and check for the mistakes or the errors? But this is a good thing that AI can do for us now. Demonstrate that the presenter has chosen the correct type of presentation. I have seen recently some presentations rejected because the presenter wrote the abstract and the summary for a research presentation, but then they said it was going to be a practice-oriented session. So there seems to be some kind of misunderstanding for that, or people don't really understand what those different types of sessions are. So I hope this presentation will make it clearer. I should say for us, all the information that I'm giving you is actually available on our website on one page if you read the page before you submit a proposal. And nowadays, I think we can use AI to translate very easily also. So if reading a whole page of small text in English is daunting, you can ask AI to translate it into your own language, right? That might make it easier. So be sure you choose the correct type of presentation. Rima, can you go on to the next slide? Okay, here's an example summary. And again, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to read that by yourself, okay? Okay, so I've given you about 2 minutes to look that over. And notice here at the bottom, it says participants will leave equipped with actionable strategies to create active student-centered environments that enhance language learning outcomes and foster lifelong learner independence. So I always think it's very, my lights just came back on. I've been sitting here in the dark. My lights went out just before the presentation. I had to use my diving flashlight for a light. Okay. My favorite part of this summary is at the bottom when it says participants will leave equipped with actionable strategies to create active student-centered environment. So I think it's always important to say at the end what the participants will get from the session. This is a very, very strong summary. And Salah Ali has asked again, this example uses strong academic language and is still easy to read. What advice would you give for writing summaries that sound professional, but still clear and simple? And my advice would be, once you have written your summary, ask AI to help you make it clear and simple. I think we're beginning to see when AI corrects or enhances what someone wrote, or when AI simply generates what someone supposedly wrote. Yeah. So I think it's a fair use of AI. Write it yourself first and then ask for AI to tweak it for you. Okay, please, Rima, go on to the next one. Okay, bio, problematic again, because some presenters cannot squeeze it into 30 words. I'm sorry, but there are space limitations. The only ones who get longer bios and longer abstracts are, of course, and longer titles are, of course, the invited speakers. Yeah, 150 presentations, there are space limitations, right? So good bio statements are written in the third person, okay? Melanie Gobert, Ed D, is an English language fellow at the US Embassy in Indonesia at Universitas Patimura. Her interests include teacher development and AI. Of course, this is my short bio. You can write whatever you want when you submit a concurrent proposal. Of course, that we've written, there's just not enough room. Information to include your present place of employment, the highest degree you received, I think, any special post held, and maybe research or teaching interest. And I have actually seen some people say things like, you know, Melissa has a dog. She spends her free time camping and taking care of her pets. Not a professional academic bio, okay? So think of your audience. So this is a good tip. Your present place of employment, the highest degree you received, special post held, and maybe your current research teaching interest. Okay, that will fit. I know we would like to talk more about ourselves, but that's not really the point of a proposal. That's the point of your CV, right? Anything else you think we should leave out? Any other information you think we should leave out? You can put it in the chat. I'll give you 1 minute to think. Anything else we should leave out? Anybody want to put anything in the chat? I guess your pets is enough. Good night. Good night. Good night. I'm going to bed also. 10 minutes, huh? I already ate. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry. That was my landlady. The electricity came back on. I'm very happy about that. Okay, Rima, do you want to go on to the next one? I think we're just about out of time. Okay, an important factor for the proposals team is balanced. Too many proposals on the same topic cannot all be accepted. We've never had a situation where this has been a problem. Okay, we usually choose just from the top ranking one. AI is very popular now, but everybody doesn't want to hear about AI, right? There are lots of people who are interested in, you know, what works in the classroom, what doesn't. And a lot of people teach in an environment where they don't have a lot of technology in the classroom. Okay, proposals that target certain demographics have a good chance of being selected. There is a lack of good presentation content at the primary and secondary school level. We do begin to see an increase in this because English has been pushed down lower and lower into the curriculum. Teachers and schools don't actually have a conference culture, but we are trying to create that and nourish it, okay? Because we know that attending conferences, Rima said a lot about attending conferences and giving presentations for your CV, but she lacked what I think is the most important thing, and that is that you can keep learning stuff as a teacher. Yeah. So now in K-12 schools, there begins to be also a need and hunger to learn more to become a better teacher. Okay, well-written proposal summaries have a better chance of being accepted than poorly written ones. And I don't think there's anything wrong with using AI to polish it up. But if you just ask AI to write it, the reviewers can see that because it doesn't really say anything. So I think we're all becoming aware of that happening when we over rely on AI. If I get an email that's completely written by AI, I don't even understand what the person is asking. Sometimes we express our own ideas, but if we need some sharpening or refinement or polishing up, I think it's okay. Before, you could pay people to do this for you, but now it's free because AI does it. Okay. Maybe not everyone will agree with me, but I think it's happening already, and I think it will continue to happen. Okay, and also one thing that's important is if you don't show up at the conference, sometimes, this has become an issue. I think it was an issue even at the conference we recently had at Webster. There can always be someone who's sick or someone whose wife goes into labor the day before a conference. You cannot predict, okay? Because when you have 250 people together, the chances are a few of them, one or two, will have something come up. But if this is reported, if we see that people did not attend, then we automatically reject them from the next conference. So it is important to show up, okay? And I do check for this. Okay, can we go on to the next one? Rima, I think we're just about done. Okay, this is important too. Factors disqualifying a proposal. Okay, we do allow our exhibitors to present about their materials, but we always make it clear in the program. This presentation is done by Black Cat, for example. Okay, and because if we have exhibitors, they also get a free presentation during the conference. But sometimes publishers or sometimes people try to sneak in a proposal that's commercial. For us, what we found is very important and what sets our conference aside is we're not trying to sell you anything, okay? We don't have 100 exhibitors and 100 people who represent that company giving the presentations because they want you to buy that for your school. Okay. We have exhibitors, they're allowed to present. It's clear that they're from a company and they're presenting. The strength of our conference is that it's teacher to teacher. Teachers want to learn from other teachers, they want to learn from their peers. Okay, big problem. I hate to say this for the Uzbek audience, not received before the deadline. And I say that because it really breaks my heart because I received 10, 12, 15 requests to please, please, please accept their proposal after the deadline. And I have to refuse. And the reason I have to refuse is because our proposals are peer reviewed. And it's an automated system. We have 30 reviewers. I don't send your proposal to 2 people to review like a journal article. And if you send the proposal late and we accept it without reviewing, we run the risk of losing our Scopus index because it has to be blind peer reviewed. So this is a big, big issue. Please, please respect the deadline if you want to present at a conference. Please respect the 7-word title limit. Please respect the 30-word bio limit, because then you won't have any stress. You'll be accepted, you'll be received. You won't have to write me emails begging me to accept your proposal after the deadline. So please, please, respect all of these conditions. Okay, we also have some people who submit 2 or 3 proposals, but they have different titles. And of course, the reviewers and I can check that. We also limit our proposals to 1 proposal per person. Now, if you want to present a second proposal, you can as a co-presenter with someone else. This is allowable, okay? And this is what I see a lot, not from Uzbekistan, fortunately, but I see it from a lot of teachers in the UAE, the same proposal every year with different titles, okay? Keep it fresh. And I'm actually not the one who reviews. I don't look at what the reviewers wrote. I don't make a decision. If somebody emails me and says, my proposal was rejected, can you please check it again? I only see the score on the proposal and I schedule it. Okay, go on, Rima, to the next slide, please, and I'll try to finish quickly. Okay, I think I have 2 more and I want to finish them. So I hate to do this to you guys, but I'll be, jabbering quickly now. Good proposals identify the anticipated outcomes. Tell the teachers what they're going to get. Relate theory to practice, not completely research esoterical ones. It's all fine and well and good. I appreciate you worked so hard researching that to get your PhD, but I'm actually a teacher, so I need something I can use in the classroom. Address issues of current, local, and global relevance. There are new trends in English language teaching. For example, decolonizing English language teaching. I think we all know about, who was it? Katru's circles of the inner circle, the outer circle. And, this is not fair because many historical British colonies have spoken English for a long, long time. And we also cannot forget that the exams, the 2 big exam bodies for English, TOEFL and IDP, or ETS and IDP, they are perhaps a little biased in their content for international learners, okay? Teacher burnout, I told you this is a new thing coming up, are anchored in a historical context. I think this is true certainly when you submit articles for journals also. You need to ground it well in the research that's gone before. Not too narrowly focused, okay? So it should appeal to a broad audience. If it's hyper specialized, it's for a specialized conference and not for ours. Okay, draw on research theory and practice from 1 or more disciplines. Okay, we know learning theory is not only about ELT, but learning theory in general. And it says here, are well written and free of typos, grammar mistakes. Use artificial intelligence, okay? This used to be an easy way for people to reject proposals, right? But that has to do with colonizing the English language and bias, okay? So now you can use AI to make sure yours looks perfect, as it should. Okay, go on to the next one. Rima.
I think this is the last
Oh,
one,
okay. Oh, sorry.
or before that.
Go back. No, back. Yeah.
Back again.
Just a few tips. No, you were fine. Go forward.
Okay.
Okay. This is the last slide. Okay. Just a few tips. This is before you present, when your proposal's accepted. Practice, practice, especially if you are new. I have been presenting, I think, for over 30 years. But when I first started presenting, I would practice in an empty classroom with the whiteboard and the projector. Later, I started practicing on my team because we have PD week or PD day. Okay. Practice. You'll become a better presenter. You'll have more confidence. People will like what they see. You could videotape yourself, do a trial run at a PD session or small conference. Here it says prepare enough handouts or share by WhatsApp. So, no, we no longer expect people to produce anything on paper, right? This is not the way we share stuff nowadays. But if you do want people to have hands out, you need to bring it or prepare it on Google Drive. At our conference, people don't sign up for the sessions. And sometimes people say, why don't they sign up for the sessions? Because I want to give them something to do. I want to give them documents before. Even if people sign up for the sessions, it doesn't mean they will attend that session. Yeah, because you can't force that at a conference where you have 500 people. So find a way also. Now, I think it's easy with WhatsApp, right? We can scan and we can share quickly. Check and the first thing you should do when you arrive at the conference before it's your time to present, go find your room, go see how the equipment works, and find out who to contact for technical problems. Our next conference in February is at American University of Dubai in Dubai. It's a new venue for us. There will probably be a lot of hiccups along the lines of technical hiccups, but it is a fabulous campus and it's so well located in Dubai. I don't think we will ever move from that home again. Now, please, Rima, go on to the next slide and I will be quiet. Thank you for attending. If you want to connect with me, I'm on Instagram at DiveMeMe. I'm also on LinkedIn. I should have put my LinkedIn one here. I think this is an old one. And this is my email. And this is a picture of a seahorse I took last weekend when I was diving here in Ambon. Can you see the seahorse is pregnant? That means it's the male seahorse because the male seahorse carries the offspring when the female has the eggs. Thank you very much. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask.
Thank you so much, Dr. Melanie. We had one question in a chat box. Someone is asking because he or she didn't put her name. Why TESOL is important? She was asking. Why TESOL is important?
She was asking what?
Why TESOL is important for our education.
Why TESOL is important for our education.
Mhm.
So TESOL means teaching English to speakers of other languages. Okay. So if you're asking me, why is it important for people to learn English? I would say for job mobility. Yeah. For job opportunity, because it's still going to be the common language for these major corporations like Google and Apple, but also for Japanese or Korean companies as well. Yeah, they also are starting to hire a lot of foreigners, and the common language is always English. So if you're asking me why teaching English as a second language is important for our education, I would say that, to become better teachers, a lot of teachers, especially in the old days, like for example, here where I live, but also in countries like Ireland and the UK, you get your teaching qualification and then you're a teacher, and you don't need to ever do any other professional development your whole life because you've got your teaching certificate. Well, I have to say I disagree with that because the world is changing very rapidly and very fast. And for teachers to stay on top of their game, they need to stay on top of developments in the field. In my own profession, my own fellowship here in Indonesia, there was just a big discussion in our WhatsApp group. A teacher wanted to use music and songs for the students to help them learn English. And people were giving her websites. Well, then it came up, all these songs are so old. And some teacher said, I'm only 38 years old, and my student said Beyonce is old. So, I mean, who are we teaching? The students are getting younger and younger. The students of today, 18 and 19, are not like the students of 20 years ago, 18 or 19. So I think it's important for us as TESOLers, as teachers of English, as a language to other speakers, it's important for us to keep up to date on modern methods for the benefit of our students. And I guess that means I need to start listening to more K-pop.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Melanie. And we have another question. Karima is raising her hand. Please, Karima, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello, everyone. I'm Karima from Morocco, an associate professor at Qada'iyya University, and I'm really glad to meet you today and share with you any of our experience in how to submit proposals and presentations and the things related to conference process. Thank you, Mrs. Gobert, for your presentation. We learned a lot from you because mainly we are focused on research paper writing, publication, and we do ignore that side of presenting and how to write proposal and summary and the bio. The bio, we're always struggling with how to shorten the length of the bio. We would like to insert and include everything with it. Yeah, and I really appreciate the way you presented and how you made it, squeezed into 30 words and you gave examples. Really appreciate it. I would like just to give you a very few questions. The first one that I already included in the chat box is that when counting the words of the title, do we ignore the prepositions or we include it in counting? Yes.
They have to be included.
Yeah, they have to be included. Okay. And what about the titles? Are we supposed to, let's say, create a new title different than the research article that we have, let's say, published?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it shouldn't be identical.
Yeah, for our conference, it would be our conference is not a specialist conference, so it would be a mistake to use the same title that you used for the article and to even use the same summary because there's no practical component sometimes when it's applied linguistics. And our conference is not a specialist conference. Our conference is it's practice oriented.
Practice oriented.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Because
Okay.
this is how classroom practice actually changes. Research informs what we do in the classroom, right? So
Okay.
any research that you do should inform what teachers do in the classroom. I know particularly for my own teaching practice, I did two big action research studies after I completed my PhD, and those two studies really informed, to this day, how I teach. And one of them was on error correction,
Okay.
which I think
That
is a complete waste of time. So,
okay. That's great. And one last question, please. Not to take from your time. The issue of editing or refining or checking grammar, I personally use AI just in references because I struggle and I have problems of the APA and the MLA and stuff, how to write the references. So I give to generate like a correct like listing of alphabetical order and date and the stuff. But I have been said, and I, attended some webinars. They were like saying that it is not doable because the AI, let's take the example of ChatGPT, they recognize it as their work after when you give them those information that you personally, written and worked on it heavily. And finally, if they check it, just I don't know if there are some programs that check plagiarism or AI generator, they the ChatGPT will recognize it as its work, not mine. Can you just like clarify it? Because I'm always in
oh,
doubt of.
well, I mean, like, I just attended a big conference here in Indonesia for teaching English as a foreign language. They had a very, very large conference. And I'm just
Okay.
trying to see if I can rejoin this because we're still together on the phone, but I think it's only me and you. Because I told you my power went out, so I was using my cell data and they switched the power back on, but I
Mhm.
seem to have switched on my computer. Okay, so
No problem.
yes. Okay, at the conference that I was recently at, there was a woman from, I think it's pronounced ASEAN, it's ASEAN, and they have a journal, the ASEAN ELT journal, Scopus Index and everything. She was the editor. And, somebody was saying, but um, if you send something in and then it got published anyway, and there was a lot of mistakes in the APA referencing, some imagined references, and whose job is it to check that? And she was saying, well, even as an editor, I send it to reviewers. But now, because of AI, we have so many things coming in, whereas we used to have just 10. Now we have like 200. We can't even find people to review them. And the point that she made is that this is in flux. Even when the internet was invented and students couldn't use Wikipedia and we had to teach them to paraphrase what the sources on the internet said, AI is going to have a huge impact and it's in flux it's in flux. And Christine Coombs said that Springer says that they have an AI detector, but the AI detectors, and Turnitin has announced an AI detectors, but the AI detectors are using AI to detect AI. I
Mhm.
mean, it's a huge, huge gray area. And I think it's perfectly acceptable when you have your references, if you ask AI to put them in the correct APA format. Because my point of view about this is that it was always okay to pay someone. If you were from Iraq and you were getting your PhD in chemistry in America, they would tell you to go pay someone. And there were
Mhm.
people, a whole business around the campus of people who edited, PhD thesis for a lot of money. Well,
Mhm.
now AI can do that for you for free. But I do
Exactly.
think it's important that you check each reference that you use and you give the DOI, you give the DOI number. And I know on something I recently submitted, I was also accused of some of those references being made up. And I was like, they weren't made up. I saw the PDFs online of all of these references. So, it's a big area and it's still being figured out. I wouldn't take it too seriously and I wouldn't be too insulted. Everybody is using AI to write their emails and stuff like that nowadays. People are using it to write references for someone. I don't think that academia or teachers cannot reflect the real world. The real world is already using AI. The real world is going to replace people's jobs because AI can do that job. But it hasn't all been figured out. And there are definitely some ethical considerations because a lot of the work my students give me is just completely generated by AI. So it's not very good and it's not ethical. But, do I want to see them get kicked out of college for cheating? No. We all have to learn and we all have to make limits. And institutions like colleges and universities are not being very helpful for this. But it took them a long time to come up with how we should cite pages on the internet, right? I mean, it took
Yeah.
APA a long time to come up with the 7th edition. And it's going to take just as long for that to happen with AI. But I'm sure in 10 years or 15 years, we'll have some real ethical guidelines about how it's okay to use it. But I'm not going to tell people that they can't use it because that favors the white speaking majority. You
Yeah.
understand what I mean? They want to
Yeah.
hold on. They want to
For
hold on to
sure.
that power.
Yeah,
They want to
nowadays,
hold on to that power.
mhm. Yeah, it's just like a weapon right now given to students. Okay, I don't say they became passive, but they overuse it. And sometimes, yeah, it hinders their creativity. But me as an instructor, I always guide them to use AI, but in their own, benefit. It means maybe to help them understand, maybe see other ideas of other authors, maybe to get inspired from other text, other resources. It means that we are coping with the new era requirement of using AI, but we are here to guide and to let's say make the students know that it is their right. It's not like forbidden, no, don't use it, it's kind of cheating. You rely a lot on it, but it is an assistance.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
especially, yeah, complementary.
yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to happen. But like, should we be like citing AI for everything that it generates for us or corrects for us? Did you ever cite an editor, or if you had to pay somebody to reread your dissertation and fix it? And this is really what happened, in Canada, UK, Australia, America, but then people didn't even mention, oh, my research paper was proofread and edited by this person, and I paid them, like
Yeah,
that was
never.
always
Yeah,
okay. But who does that favor? Who does that
exactly.
favor? That favors the
Yeah,
native
exactly.
speakers.
It was human oriented. Now it is AI oriented. I always say to my students, especially those in the last year, it means for their monograph, okay, I will not correct your grammar mistakes, punctuation, capitalization. You have to consult a trustworthy, a website for this, like Grammarly or whatever, and you correct.
Grammarly is AI. Yeah.
Yeah, and you proofread it. And me, it is about the theory, the methodologies. Everything which is, critically and human analyzed. That's my role. And those things that are technical, it's up to you to do it with the help of the AI. That is my
Anyway, so
instructions.
So I think it's perfectly acceptable for us to, to use AI to polish up our proposals, our titles, our abstracts. It will level the
Exactly.
playing field. But I do
Okay.
think, people need to know what they're presenting and write it first, or write it in their own language and ask AI to translate it, and then read it, to make sure it accurately
Exactly.
reflects what
Yeah,
they want
because
to
we
say.
cannot trust AI.
Yeah.
I always say we cannot trust the content of AI. We have to double check,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
references, like information, like everything
Thank you
given.
so much,
Thank
Karima.
you so much.
Yes.
Like a
Thank you
stupid
so much.
assistant.
Wasted
Sometimes
from
it's
your
like a
time. I'm
stupid
very
assistant.
sorry.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you
That's
so
It's
much.
another
nice talking to
presentation.
you,
Yes,
all of
Okay.
you.
because it's a huge topic about AI.
Yeah, it should be
Uh,
debatable in next
Yes,
webinars,
you are
Mrs.
right.
Rima.
Yes, we will do that. And I want to share the certificate with Dr. Melanie now, because Dr. Melanie shared with us her knowledge about conference proposal writing tips, and it was really interesting to know what aspects they consider and when they accept your conference proposal. So that was really interesting to know from Dr. Melanie. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Melanie. I want to mention about Dr. Melanie's biography, a short one. She's working in the U.S. Embassy in Jakarta, and she currently teaches at Universitas Patimura in Ambon, Indonesia, and she previously worked in Africa, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. She has been the proposals chair for TESOL conferences from 2019-2025. And here you can see the flyer poster for TESOL conference, upcoming TESOL conference. You can apply. It's going to happen in February next year. So we can meet each other and collaborate again. I'm also going to apply for this conference, and we will be happy to learn from each other. And as Dr. Melanie told us, conferences are beneficial for our professional development, and it's continuous learning. I totally agree, and it's good for our professional growth. And thank you so much for your interesting questions. And the next webinar will be on unlocking your PhD path. If you are interested to talk or to discuss about your PhD journey and to learn how to write your research proposal, you can join us. So we have other speakers, Dr. Emilda from India, Dr. Amira from Egypt, and we will be happy to have you again. So I think it's high time to say goodbye, but we had some questions, but I'm going to ask the answer from Dr. Melanie, and I'll contact with you via email. Thank you so much for your participation today. Dr. Melanie, thank you so much for your time. I know that it's very late in Tokyo. Have a nice dream. Have a nice dream, and goodbye. Good night.
Bye. Thank you very much. Thank
Goodbye.
you for having me. Bye-bye.
So please don't forget to fill the attendance list. I already copied and pasted here in a chat box. And I'm going to share the attendance list in a chat box in Telegram and WhatsApp channel or groups. You will be able to fill the attendance list from Telegram and WhatsApp. Thank you so much for coming and joining us today. I'm so happy to see you all. I'm so happy to see my previous courses students also. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have collaboration and cooperation from other countries, we are open for that. So you can contact. Thank you. Bye.